Welcome to the Man 360 podcast.
Before we get into talking about how to apologize, I want to highlight the importance of being a correctable person. So those are directly connected, and I'm going to share a little bit of that connection with you today. So Proverbs is full of verses that talk about the importance of being a correctable person. And here are just a few verses about correction in life using the English Standard Version of the Bible. So there's 3 verses I want to share. Proverbs 10:17 is, "Whoever heeds instruction is on the path to life, but he who rejects reproof leads others astray." So essentially, when you're not correctable in instruction, your actions can lead other people astray, which is even more crazy. Proverbs 15:32 says, "Whoever ignores instruction despises himself, but he who listens to reproof gains intelligence." And then Proverbs 12:1 is, "Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof is stupid." And you notice how I said stupid, because if either you love discipline and you love knowledge, or you hate those things and you act in a stupid way. So correctability in life is directly connected, again, with being able to apologize. So as humans, we know none of us want to be wrong or make a mistake. We want our lives to be flawless. But the problem is that our flesh is not flawless and needs to be brought into alignment. So I typed this real quick to help summarize what is apologizing. And if you're taking notes, this could really be good for you to listen to this. Apologizing is an exercise in correcting our free will when we have made a mistake that needs a conversation with someone. So there's some type of interaction that happens, and maybe you made a mistake, maybe you said something and didn't even realize what you said, and that person was offended. So you need to be able to evaluate that and what that needs to be, and then have a conversation with someone, maybe talking to you and saying, "This hurt me. This is something that you said or did that hurt me," and so you need to be able to have a conversation with them. So here are 7 steps that we found online that made sense and that are easy to quantify. And I think it's really important because when you think about the whole concept of apologizing, it's very important that you think of it in a way that you can digest. And also, I wanted to give you just a few steps to think about and also pray about in your own life to be able to bring those things together and really become a good apologizer. I guess that's kind of the bottom line today. So as I share these, take some mental notes, see which ones are easier for you, which ones may be harder. Because I think when I was reading through this list for myself, I saw some of those and I thought, those wouldn't be as hard for me to do, but then there's other ones that would really be hard because you have to be specific when you're apologizing and not just be general. So I'll provide a link as well to these 7 once we get done with the program today, and you can go to man360.tv and go to download these to keep them in your phone, or if you want to print them out. So first, let's start with what an apology does not look like. So these are very funny, and maybe if you've heard these or you've said these technically are not an apology. "I'm sorry you feel that way." So you're quantifying and saying your feelings are completely fine. That person, there's something that's going on, and you're like, well, you're sorry that you feel that way. "I'm sorry you misinterpreted what I said. You misunderstood what I meant. I'm sorry, but what about that time you..." So you're turning the situation from what you're trying to deal with to whatever happened maybe in the past with that person. Or "It was your fault that I..." So there was some kind of outside factor that caused you to do something that offended someone, but really you are in charge of your own emotions, how you react to things, how you interact with people. There's not something that's outside causing you to do something. It's your own free will and how you're acting to people. So here are the 7 steps outlining how to apologize. So number 1 is say what you're sorry for. That sounds really simple, but you need to be able to say, "I'm sorry for," and then you say what that is. So pretty simple. Number 2, you need to say why it was wrong. It was wrong because. So what you're doing in that point is you're outlining and you're highlighting, you're saying, this is my perception of what I did that was wrong for you. And then you give that person an opportunity to respond and clarify that to make sure that you're all on the same page. And you're just meeting those expectations of what that person is mentioning that they're offended. And then you're bringing that, taking the responsibility of your apology. And so the number point 3 is accept full responsibility. I accept full responsibility for what I did and said. Now, the hard thing with that is that could just be lip service, because maybe that person you're talking to is really offended. Maybe they're really angry and you're trying to just calm them down. but you really need to take full responsibility for what you do and what you say. We're going to be held accountable by the things that we say, the things that we do on this earth, and how our interaction is with people. And really being a good apologizer is being completely like Christ. So point 4 is ask how we can make amends. How can I make this better for you? And, sometimes if somebody is, what I think this is really good is it really brings it into context. Is that person just emotionally reacting to you? Or is there something you can actually do to remedy what happened? Maybe there's something there that's specific. Number 5 is commit to not doing it again. So moving forward, I promise to, and then you say what you're committing to. You're making an agreement basically with that person, and you're saving that relationship to say, this is what I'm committing to do on my end. And again, building an expectation for that person and remending that bridge between you. Number 6 is ask for forgiveness. Say, will you accept my apology? So that's really good, again, because what you're saying is you're apologizing, then you're offering to that person. Now they could say, I don't accept your apology. At that point, it's not your responsibility to make them accept your apology. You're just talking about, and really this whole segment is just talking about what's your responsibility to take ownership of what you did and then say, this is what I'm sorry for. So then you thank them. You say, thank you for bringing this to my attention. Thank you for sharing this with me. And again, if you're a person that's been offended, you need to be able to take that initiative and say, hey, this really hurt me. This offended me. And I know I've done this well in life at times. I've done it poorly at times. So really to think through this. So apologizing is not easy, and doing it well is even harder. When we're followers of Christ, we should always be sensitive and careful with our words with other people, especially with people who don't know Christ. Our free will does not want to naturally follow the ways in the Bible, and our life is going to bring situations into our life that will need adjustment. So today, take some time and evaluate your life and work on becoming a correctable person and someone who sees the value of an apology.